Hello, students. Today, we are going to talk about something very important, development. Now, when we hear this word developed, what comes to your mind? Maybe tall buildings, big factories, lots of money. Well, we are going to see that development is actually much, much more than just that. It's really about people, about us.
So let's see what we will be learning today. First, we will understand what development really is. Then, we will look at a better way to measure it called the HDI. We will also compare India with its neighbors. And finally, we will discuss a very crucial topic for our future, sustainable development and how we use our resources.
All right, let's begin with our first section. So, what is development? As I asked before, is it just about money? Let's explore this question together.
Now look at this picture. What do you see? On one side, we have a very tall, modern building. And right next to it, a slum. This is something we often see in our cities. We see it as a sign of development, but we have to ask ourselves, is this development for everyone? Is this what progress really looks like?
Traditionally, when we wanted to compare countries, the first thing we looked at was income. It was thought that if a country has more money, it must be more developed. So we use something called per capita income to measure this. It's simply the total income of the country divided by its total population. It gives us an average income for each person.
Okay, but let's pause and think about this. Is money the only thing we need for a good life? What about having good schools for your education, or good hospitals when you are sick? Are these things not important? Of course they are.
This table is very interesting. Let's look at it carefully. We have 3 states, Haryana, Kerala, and Bihar. See Haryana? It has the highest per capita income, so based on money alone, it seems the most developed. But now look at Kerala. Its income is lower than Haryana's. But see here, its infant mortality rate, that is, the number of children who die before the age of 1, is much, much lower. And its literacy rate, how many people can read and write, is the highest. So what does this tell us? It clearly shows that money alone is not enough. Good public facilities like schools and hospitals are also extremely important for people's well-being. So if income isn't the whole picture, then we need a better way to measure development, right? A way that looks at the overall well-being of people. And that brings us to our second section, a better measure called the HDI. So what is this HDI? HDI stands for Human Development Index. It's a report published by the United Nations Development Program, or UNDP. The main idea behind HDI is to measure development by looking not just at income, but also at other very important aspects of human life, like health and education. The HDI is built on 3 basic pillars. Let's go through them one by one. First, a long and healthy life. This is measured by life expectancy at birth, basically how long an average person is expected to live. Second, knowledge. This looks at education, like how many years children are expected to go to school. And third, a decent standard of living. This is measured by GNI per capita, which is similar to the average income. So you see, health, education, and income. Together, they give a much fuller picture of development.
Okay, now that we understand what the HDI is, let's use it to see how our country, India, is doing compared to some of our neighboring countries. Now, this table shows us some very important things. It might surprise you to see that a small country like Sri Lanka has a much better HDI rank than India. Look at Bangladesh. Its per capita income is less than ours, but its life expectancy is higher. This proves again that even with a lower income, a country can perform better in human development if it focuses on health and education for its people.
All right, so we've talked about how to measure development now, but what about the future? This brings us to a very, very important question about sustainability. We must ask, the way we are developing today, can it continue forever? Think about it. Are we using up our resources so fast that there will be nothing left for future generations, for your children and grandchildren? This idea has a name. It is called sustainability of development. It's a very simple but powerful idea. It means that we should develop in a way that meets our needs today, but without harming the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It's about being responsible. Now, to understand sustainability better, we need to understand the resources we use. So, let's talk about using our resources wisely. So, our natural resources can be divided into 2 types. On one hand, we have renewable resources. These are resources that nature can replenish or refill. For example, groundwater gets refilled by rain. On the other hand, we have non-renewable resources.
These resources will get exhausted. They have a fixed stock, and once we finish them, they are gone forever. Crude oil is a perfect example.
Let's take an example. Groundwater. We just said it's a renewable resource, but we have to be careful. Recent evidence shows that we are overusing it. In many parts of our country, we are pumping out more water than what the rain can replenish. Nearly 1/3 of the country is overusing its groundwater. This is a very serious problem, especially for agriculture. Now, let's look at a non-renewable resource, crude oil. Our development depends so much on it. Think about the cars, buses, and trains. They all need fuel. But the problem is, crude oil will not last forever. This table should make us all think. It shows the world's crude oil reserves. If you look at the last row, at the current rate we are using oil, the world's reserves will last for less than 50 years. That is not a very long time, is it? It means we urgently need to find other sources of energy, or our development will come to a halt. So let's quickly summarize what we have learned today. First, and most importantly, development is about more than just income. It's about the quality of human life. Second, the Human Development Index helps us measure this by looking at health, education, and income. Third, sustainable development is absolutely essential for our future. And finally, we must use all our resources, both renewable and non-renewable, very, very responsibly. I want to end with this very powerful thought. It says, "We have not inherited the world from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children." What this means is that we have a responsibility. This planet does not just belong to us, it also belongs to you and the generations that will come after you. So every choice we make about development must keep the future in mind. Thank you.